All right, now we're recording. Okay, so one thing I want you to note that if you had a low grade on the assignment, there's Raj, how you doing, sir? You are able to correct the problems that are on there and resubmit it. The biggest problem that I saw that anybody had was that when it came to asking you what is a non-renewable resource, what is a renewable natural resource, you were telling me some examples. I didn't want examples. I wanted the definition of what a non-renewable natural resource was or what a resource is. And when I ask, what is a renewable resource, telling me something that could be renewed is not a definition. What is renewed? What does that mean? What does it mean to renew something? So, like I said, you can go back in, correct those if you need to. You can fix the mistakes. It'll show up that it's been corrected, and I will take care of those for you from that point. Does anybody have any questions on that?
So we just need to fix it and resubmit it, and you'll update the grade.
Right. And if you get those to me by the first half of the class today, after I give you on today's lesson, they'll be done right away. If not, they might not be done till tomorrow. So, yeah, I know there's the couple of you have already resubmitted them because once soon as I posted the grades, I think you guys saw that and you went back and you fixed them and turned them in. I'll start grading those. All right, Mr. Harrison just left. And Mr. Harrison's back. Okay. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and do that. And like I said, I'll get those updated for you. I have no problem doing that, especially as we work through this and so you know what is expected or not. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen or present my screen to you. And we're going to talk about today's assignment. Come on, here we go. All right, so if we all go over to Google Classroom, go ahead and go to classwork. I want you to look down here at the assignment W2Th Graphing Lab. And it says here, answer the questions on the Graphing Lab slide on the Google Doc named Graphing Lab Answer Sheet. For Station 13, make a graph in your science composition book, your notebook, or your paper, whatever you have. Take a picture of it and insert it into the Station 13 answer area. So you have two different items here. You have the Graphing Lab slides, which are view only, and then you have the Graphing Lab answer sheet. And when I open up the answer sheet, there are a lot of questions. There are a total of 52 questions, but don't worry, they're not that bad. You're just going to answer straight onto this document. And down here is where you're going to take a picture and insert the last slide. You get to create your own graph of whatever you want it to be and put it in there. But let's talk about the assignment, what I am actually wanting you to do. Most of you have been familiar with graphing. You've read graphs in 5th and 6th grade. We are going to, in a couple of weeks, take a test that you have to create your own graph. So what I want to make sure you understand how to read a graph, the information that you can find in a graph, and then see if you can make a basic graph yourself. So this is just kind of a reinforcement to make sure you know what should be in a graph. And there's a bunch of different type of graphs here. I'm going to show you this first graph, and it's really kind of simple. This is a circle graph, a pie chart. Its title says Kids Spending Time Playing Video Games. And then the blue, it's less than 1 hour. The purple is 1 to 2 hours. Yellow, 3 to 5. turquoise, light blue, 6 to 10, and red, 11 to 20. So, Jagadish, if I were to ask you the first question, what percentage of kids spend 11 to 20 hours playing video games? What would the answer to that be?
He sent it in the chat.
Oh, okay. I have to exit here. Oh, chat. Okay, over here. 7.5. So that is correct. If I come back to the graph, the red is 7.5. Now, what I expect from you, though, especially being that this is a pre-AP science class, especially being that you're seventh graders, is I'm going to want you to answer everything in complete sentences. Whether you restate the question or you just answer it in a complete sentence, um, you need to make sure you're answering in a complete sentence. Now, you said 7.5. You also need to talk about how it is labeled. That's actually 7.5%. If I just say 7.5, yes, it says what percentage of here, but somebody reading it, 7.5 kids spend time playing video games. What, are we cutting a kid in half? So make sure you're giving me the complete answer. 7.5% of the kids surveyed play video games for more than 11 to 20 hours. Does it, I mean, you guys kind of understand that we need to be able to make sure we do it in a complete sentence. Now, some questions may be a little subjective, meaning there can be possibly more than one answer. There really truly is only one answer on this, but I will accept multiples. If I were to ask Anya, wait, no, am I saying that right? Anya, and Anya. I'm saying your name wrong, I know. I'm sorry. I'm definitely not letting somebody in with that name. That does not sound like a proper name. That is nobody on my class roster. Anybody know who that is? Do you see the person that's trying to join? Okay.
I see it. I don't know who it was. I don't.
Yeah, I don't recognize that name, and that name sounds like I might be trying to get punked.
Then the name was kind of inappropriate.
Okay, so Anya, are you still here? Yes. Am I saying your name right? Ananya?
It's Ananya.
Ananya. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So if I look at this second question, ma'am, it says, what is one thing that this graph does not tell you to fully understand the experiment? What would you possibly say is something that you would probably need to know to understand the graph better?
Of how many kids are playing video games at each time.
Okay, so that could be something that we might need to know. I mean, are we talking about 100 kids? Are we talking about 20 kids? How many kids are on there? I'm sorry, I'm going to say it wrong. Sudaranson, S-U-D.
You can call it Sid, but it's actually Sudarshan. Sorry, I should pronounce it, but you can call me Sid.
Sid?
S-I-D. Yeah, S-I-D.
All right, Sid.
So what I was thinking was like the video games that they're playing, because like some video games are interesting and some are not.
Okay. So are they playing Call of Duty? Are they playing Minecraft? Are they playing Roblox? What is it that they're playing? I mean, there could be a lot of different things there. Jacob, what do you think might be missing from here?
sorry, my thing takes a long time to unmute.
It's okay.
From the pie chart,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you can play more than 20 hours. That's quite a long time.
Is it?
I think so.
There are some streamers.
Well, okay. So what Mr. Frazier just brought up is, how about the time frame? Are we talking a month? Are we talking a week? Or are we talking 24 hours a day? We don't know what time frame they're talking about. If it was a month, 20 hours isn't very much. That's less than an hour a day on average. Yes, Chopper.
Oh, I had another thing that might be missing.
What's that?
What age the kids are. Because
Okay.
if you're 3 and you're paying attention to something, you're probably not going to be paying attention to it for very long.
Okay.
Because you're 3.
So the age of a kid, yes, that could be another one, but it truly is, the information that is missing is the time frame of the game. But yeah, I mean, that would also work. But if I'm talking a week, now 20 hours becomes more substantial. If I'm talking a day, that's very substantial. Arsh, yes, sir.
The thing I'm doubting is that if it's a day, then if it's like a week, then how would it be 7.5%? I would think that it's a bigger number instead.
Well, that's the percentage of kids. So 7.5% of the kids play that amount of time.
So there's going to be probably a bigger number if that's probably like an average amount of time. So you're probably going to have an average amount of kids, not this little of a percentage.
Okay. So what about if we're talking about different areas? What about different times of the year? Kids are going to play less during the school year than they do versus the summer. So these are all different things that might fall in there. But even if we're talking about a day, is it possible a kid plays for 20 hours in one day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know my son, when he has his friends spend the night every once in a while during the summer, it's like, Dad, can I stay up all night with my friend and play games? Sure.
I did that once at a friend of mine's sleepover. We stayed up until I think it was 12 p.m. to around 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And we all fell asleep playing a game.
That is very true. Guys, I'm going to ask you to pause for just 1 second. I'm going to be right back. All right, I was hoping the tech lady was next door. We are going to definitely find out who that is, and we will take care of that. All right, so what I'm going to want you to do is you're going to go through all these graphs and answer the questions that are on there. It's not very difficult. There are a couple graphs here, number 4 in particular. It was not made very well. You can see down here, these are all dates, 2020, 2002, 2003, 2004. They kind of smashed them all together. So when you look at this question here, during what years were what years did this experiment take place? You'd go from 2002 to 2012. So that's the years down here. There's another one here that a lot of people, when they look at this, if they look at it in normal fashion, these words are kind of hard to read. But if you hit the present mode or come over here and go to 100%, you'll be able to read these slides very well. And also make sure you're looking, at the bottom of the slides, because there's a lot of information that is given to you on these to answer the question. Does that make sense? Sid, you have a question?
When is it due?
This is actually going to be due on Tuesday before class starts. So, but my hope is that, I mean, if you work on it for the allotted class period time, you know, because technically, if we want to be specific, this class lasts until 3:35. Most of my other students have got the majority of it done. And then I don't know if you're aware of this, we also have class tomorrow. You're in science class again tomorrow. It's a B day. So hopefully your teachers have already told you that. The last thing I want to cover with you before I let you go is just the last slide. It's station 13, but here we call it station XLR8. And if we say that really fast, it's station accelerate. So this is the graph that I want you to draw on your own piece of paper. I want you to make sure you have your x-axis, your y-axis, you label everything, put a title on it. I'd like it colored. It could be whatever you want it to be. Some people, some people were asking me what they could do. I mean, think about all my friends. What's my friends, or what's the most favorite fast food restaurant among all my friends? Not that fast food's good, but some people eat it. You put McDonald's, you put Jack in the Box, you put Burger King, whatever you happen to put on there, and then just say, out of 20 friends, this one, this one, this one. Have fun with it. Make it something that you're interested, some kind of hobby you have. You can do something about sports. You can do something about music. Just create some kind of graph. You do not actually have to perform an experiment. Does that make sense? Okay. I will be here if you have any questions. I am going to try to find my tech person real quick to see if I can get them to track that IP address and find out who that belongs to. Put your comments, if you have a question, in the chat, and I will be back in just 1 minute. Sound good? Juliana. Or Juliana.
You said it right the first time.
Okay, Juliana.
Yeah. I just had a question. So are we supposed to stay on this meet the whole time, or are we allowed to go off and do our work separately?
You can go off. I will stay in the meet, so you can come back. Because technically, this meet, if I leave, you're not supposed to be able to come back into the meet if I'm not here. So, but yeah, you're more than welcome to leave.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure.
If I leave, what time do I have to come back?
You don't have to come back. This is due on Tuesday. You have to come back tomorrow. You have to be back here at 2:20 tomorrow.
So I don't have to come back?
Nope.
Okay.
And I will have
I'll see you tomorrow.
all right, I'll have the video recording uploaded here shortly.